Hello everybody and welcome. Today we are looking at the GameSir Super Nova. Got this at the Micro Center for 45 bucks. Let's see if it's worth what I spent, yeah? Now, before we look at the controller itself, it's necessary to show the dock. Much the same as 8BitDo's Ultimate controllers, this bad boy is included with the GameSir. However, it's not a very elegant solution compared. As you can see, the dongle is very visible. Let me pull it out right now. Whereas on the 8BitDo dock, it's hidden away in a compartment. So if you, for some reason, have any issues getting this caught up in your setup, that might be something to be concerned about, you know, wires catching and what have you. If you're in a position where you can put it away from any other conflicting wires, however, it's a pretty good dock. It charges, it does everything you need it to do. It's tri-mode, right? It is, and you switch back here. This here, it's in the neutral position now, and you can either go Bluetooth or 2.4, depending on the position that you put it in. I'm going to put it in 2.4 right now, since I find it works better with the dock. With the dongle, rather. And boom, it pairs almost right away, which I love personally. Fucking, I don't know why it's asking for a Bluetooth authorization. I don't know what the fuck that's about. But anyway, let's see how this controller works, shall we? Alright, let's start something up. Now, first I want to show off something with which uses the joysticks, because this uses Hall effect joysticks, everybody's favorite. So they're very durable, and you can get a lot of precision off of them. However, and it's very unfortunate, the sticks don't have a lot of resistance to them. They're not very stiff. So I tend to like stiffer joystick buttons. I know a lot of people are into the more subtle feeling of your modern sticks. But, you know, it's something to keep in mind. Also to keep in mind, for some reason, the analog triggers have these little stops on them. What happens is when you pull them out, you can't pull your triggers as far back. I'm not really sure what the hell that's even for, but I'm sure they've got to have some kind of purpose, right? Anyway, there's no reason to hold up. Let's get this fucking show on the road, shall we? This is Call of Duty World at War. And it's taking a lot of work to do to keep it subtle. Like, it takes a lot of restraint because of how little resistance the stick offers. But it does feel like it's responding to the movements, at least. You know, like there's room for those soft, precise movements if you're careful at them. There goes Pyle, and looks like we're next. Hey, buddy, I got to demonstrate this controller. I can't die yet. What's up, robot?
We're gonna make them pay for what they've done.
Oh yeah, you heard the man.
Signal the strike team.
Uh-huh. And off we go. Hell yeah. This And already, I can tell you, stick's nice and responsive. The triggers feel nice and smooth. I'm definitely having a good time here. I feel I should mention on a side note, this I feel is one of the more enjoyable games in the Call of Duty series. Unrelenting, dark, and incredibly violent. This was the series at its best. And as you can see, playing it here is absolutely amazing. This controller is doing amazing work. The buttons, you know, they're standard membrane buttons, but they feel good. There we go.
Well done, Marine. Keep moving. More of them. Hold your position.
Alright, bitch. There we go. Yeah, they are. Okay, I can move pretty good. Obviously, since these are Hall effect, you don't have to worry about joystick drift. It is incredibly nice and precise. Oh yeah, very nice. Anyway, I think this is more than enough of a demonstration of the sticks and triggers, which are absolutely perfect. So, let's go to the next game, shall we? Alright, well, we're setting up the next game. Let me show you something else about this here pad. You see this right here? This front panel? Actually, it's a faceplate being held magnetically. So, what you can do is, there's a notch here, and here as well, obviously. You can use your nail, get kind of into there, and just pop it off. Just pop it off, and there it is. Magnetic. Now, with that done, we can see that these here buttons over here can be removed. Now, why would you want to do that? These are only membrane buttons. What you can do, you'll notice they're keyed in a certain way. This allows you to swap out the positions of the Y and X buttons with each other, as well as the positions of the A and B buttons. Now, I recommend you do it like this, right? Because if you do it like this, they have a chance of falling all over the fucking place. Actually, I tried to do this on an earlier take, and it took forever to find the damn things. So they look like this. It's very basic, right? Okay, get that in there. And look around, and there's your button with these little notches on the sides. If my fucking camera would focus. Now this shows you that you can only put it in the position of the X and Y buttons. So I'm going to swap out the X and Y buttons. And in the interest of making sure that I get my point across, here's A. And you'll notice where the previous button only had 2 notches, this one has 3. This prevents you from putting the A button in the X or Y position. So we'll put the B button there, and we'll put the A button here. And now, my pad is in a different layout. Let me swap it back. Honestly, I don't know why anybody would do this. At least anybody of my age group and up. Around that, if you've grown up around these systems, you're probably used to being able to tell the difference straight away. So now, put that there. And now we are in a Nintendo layout. And I do not recommend playing like this because, as I said, the buttons they can fall out. So put your little plate back on. I think they have other plates available at the GameSir website. Also, very important, we have a 2 programmable buttons right here. One here and one here. Right? Now what you want to do is you're going to hold the button that you want and the mode button until that side starts blinking. You'll see the RGB on that side. Now I'm going to enter a little combo here. 1 2 1 2. I just put BA, and then you press the button. All that shit. And there you go. Now we need a game that's going to show that off because, well, that's important. Anyway, as you can see here, we're in Mega Man 3. Press our little macro. Oh, wait, macro's here. So we have a macro. Now, if we want to take off that macro, it's actually quite simple. You just set the thing into program mode by pressing mode and the button in question. You'll notice the side blinking. Do that again. And boom, the macro's gone. Now, let's go to a game that will demonstrate the D-pad, which I feel is quite important as well. Okay, we are back with Street Fighter Alpha 3 for the Dreamcast. Now, this is clearly not meant to be a fighting game controller. For that, you would use, say, the 8-bit Do Mega Drive, the MD controller that they have. Very nice controller. You would use a fight stick, obviously. Or a Saturn pad, like the ones Retrobit makes. But I feel this is a good test of the D-pad, right? Because, let's be honest here, fighting games will make you use the D-pad like crazy. And and so far it's actually pretty good. I will say though, there we go. I will say it doesn't feel as snappy as, say, the Pixel Art 2 controller that I looked at a little while back. But it's far from the worst D-pad I've ever tried. I mean, there have been some stinkers. The GameCube gamepad is famous for having a horrible D-pad. And of course, the less said about the Xbox series of controllers, the better. But for a game that uses D-pad controls, it's entirely serviceable. As with the buttons, they're just membrane. So no fancy tech there. But it does the job. Right? And really, that's all that matters. So now it's the moment of truth. Would I recommend the GameSir Super Nova? For the most part, yes, actually. However, there is a small issue. You see, let me put this motherfucker back in the street. The start, select, home, and capture buttons are set up like the Switch 2 Pro controller. So, start and select are these little round ones up here, and the long ones down here are home and capture, right? Now, that may not be so bad if you're going to be using this as a Switch Pro controller. Yes, this can work with the Switch, by the way. But if you're not used to that style of controller, let's say you've been using an 8-bit do Pro 2 controller for your Switch, and you're getting one of these as an additional, you're going to have a little breaking in period where you're going to screw around and hit these by accident when you're meaning to hit these. Now, it's not a huge deal for the most part, but it can trip you up if you're going in without knowing that you're going to need that break-in period. I tried to play Mega Man 1 live on Kick, and I kept screwing up because I was hitting the capture button instead of the select button, or the home instead of the start. And that screwed up a lot of my play, to the point where I felt like I had to go back and redo that off camera redo that game off camera so that I could give it the respect that it deserves. However, if you're used to the Switch controller, the Switch Pro controller, or if you're willing to give it that break-in period, I think you'll find that this is a very serviceable controller. And at $45, which I got it from at the Micro Center, you can do a lot worse, so let me tell you what. So yeah, the GameSir Super Nova. Absolutely, I would recommend this. It's a sturdy controller. The grips feel nice. The buttons feel nice. The sticks. I could have stood to have a little more resistance on the sticks, but I get that's where a lot of controls are going. The very low resistance sticks. It's just a good controller, And that's really what all you need. If you need just a controller-ass controller, you can do a lot worse than the GameSir Super Nova. I fully recommend it. I hope you guys find a lot of joy with this here controller. And I'll see you guys next time. God bless you all and have a wonderful day.